Let's talk about manual compression. For this example, I would be using Logic and Machine by Native Instruments. The way a compressor works is by changing the dynamic level of your audio signal. An example of this is when the audio signal is soft or quiet, the compressor will be inactive. When your audio signal reaches a certain threshold or loudness, the compressor will lower your audio signal. Let's take a fader on your mixing console or DAW. I want you to listen to some audio passing through that fader and make sure your fader is set to 0. This way it will keep the level of your audio signal untouched as it travels to your mix bus. And it will sound exactly the same way it did as it entered your fader. Let's listen for a few seconds. Okay, now that we've listened, I want you to lower your fader by 10 dB. Let's listen again. Take it to the top. Now, as you can see, lowering the audio signal by the use of the fader is not compression. And this is because you're dropping all of the audio by the same amount. An example of compression would be when the loud peaks or sections of the audio signal is reduced in level more than the quiet sections, or by leaving the quiet sections untouched. I'm going to place this fader in touch mode, which is an automation setting. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to show you now an example of manual compression. In the studio or mixing environment, this is called writing your fader, which is just another term for manual compression. Now as the song plays, I will randomly pull down the fader in different areas and let it go back to 0 where it is untouched. The moves that I make will be written into the automation and my rides will be recorded. Let's go back to the top. Here we go. Now, as you can see, the fader is dropping down where I'm pulling it back, and then it's going back to 0 where it is untouched. Now, the way I came up is we would get rough levels of the mix. We would go through the song and get everything just about where we wanted it to sit. Then we would make sure that the different elements of the mix had the sound or the EQ that we wanted, and then we would go through and we would ride different elements in the mix, and for various reasons. We would do it for controlling the volume in certain areas. We would do it for adding life or adding some dynamics to certain channels in certain areas. But most importantly, we would do it for guiding the listener's ear through the song to the things that we wanted them to hear. It was an auditory trip that we wanted to take them on. And the way we did that was ride the faders in certain areas so the listener subconsciously was drawn to certain areas of the song. Whether they noticed it or not, if someone pointed it out to you, your ear would be drawn to certain things. And that was really the key for us back in Detroit and Motown for riding the fados.